Oh, we're rolling. I would like you to tell me who you are and where you're from and what are you doing here?
Well, my name is Elizabeth Molash. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas, but I'm a student at Notre Dame right now. I'm going to be a junior next year.
Okay, and we're in New York City at the Catholic Worker House, at Mary House. So what are you doing here?
Well, I really wanted to do service this summer. That was one thing I knew. So I decided to look at the program through Notre Dame. And I was kind of browsing through the different places, and what really drew me here was the fact that you lived on the same site where you worked. So you would be constantly immersed with the people that you were working with and kind of in the community. Whereas a lot of the other sites, students live with a host family, alumni of Notre Dame, and then commute to their site. So they're not quite the same experience, I guess, as I'm having here. So.
I mean, you told me you were browsing. You'd never heard of the Catholic Worker before?
I had heard of it, but I didn't know very much about it, and I had known about the one in South Bend, but never made it there to volunteer. Just being so busy with school and stuff. But I really didn't know very much about it at all. But once I started looking into it, I knew that it was a place I really felt passionate about. So.
And how do you see the Catholic Worker today? Its meaning in life, in history, and existence. I mean, it's a movement that's been around for almost 80 years.
Right.
And I mean, how do you see, where does it fit in, and does it have a reason to be?
I think so. I think the fact that it's just a place that offers hospitality to no one, to no one, to everyone with no questions asked. Is what's really special about it, because there's so many places today where you're on a waiting list, or you have to bring papers to prove that you're homeless or prove that you don't have the resources. And the fact that women can come here, take a shower, and get clothing, and get a meal, just having to feel like that they're friends here, that they're completely welcome. I think that's the best part about it.
And traditionally, the Catholic Worker has dealt always with the quote-unquote underdogs.
Right.
And do you get people from the streets who are homeless that come in?
We do. There's a lot of people that come in, and that's one of the things that has been rough on me, is the fact that, and we're just a hospitality. We don't do anything to try to help them in the future, kind of. So that's something that's been weighing on me a little bit since I've been here. Because in the past I've worked at places that are always concentrating on the future and how, how to progress things. But I think that's the difference here, is the women come here solely for the community and for that, and they have other resources that they can go to.
Which you can redirect them to social services or psychiatric services or whatever they might be needing. Can you tell me, for instance, one particular case, you don't have to mention names or anything, but that strikes you, or a person or several persons that sort of drew attention to you in a special way?
Well, there's just the women that come in here. There's a couple of them who are just so happy and thankful every time they come, and you can just tell that this means everything to them, the fact that they can come here and that we serve them, and that...
Do you know their story? They don't have a home, or what?
Some of them come in on a more normal basis and have homes around the area, but they're not able to have a job, so they're kind of just living through government housing. And then there are some that do live on the streets. And it's hard, because sometimes I'll be walking outside and I'll run into a woman that comes in here for lunch. And some of them will say hi, some of them won't, because they feel out of their element, that you seeing them, I guess, in their turf where they live on the streets. So I think that's the hardest part about it, is just seeing them out there. Because it's hard to see people sleeping on a bench or running around outside if you've been helping them every other week. So.
Well, that's very interesting. And you've been here for how many weeks now?
This is my 7th week.
7th week.
Yes.
So wow. And do you have some particular experiences that that you can just sort of describe the general kind of women and people that come here?
I talked to a woman last week who came, and she told me she'd waited overnight at a shelter to be able to get on the list to get in. She was with her husband. They started at 7 o'clock the night before, waited all the way till the morning just to have the shelter tell them that there wasn't room, and that since they didn't have proof of housing, which she said was hard because they've been homeless and they were in another state and just currently moved to New York.
I see.
since they didn't have any proof of previous housing, that they couldn't live there.
Oh, wow.
And as this happened, some women there actually assaulted her too and took all of her stuff.
Wow.
So she came here on one of the days when we don't offer clothing, but I took her into the room and helped her pick out some clothing, and she told me how her and her husband had slept on the one train the night before.
Wow.
Because they just didn't have anywhere to go.
Wow.
And the most sad part to me was she started talking about her kids, and I told her that of course they could come here for lunch, we welcome children as well. And she was like, well honey, like I wouldn't put my kids through this. So she talked about her kids like they were with her, but they're with her her parents and his parents currently, because they're not going to put them through this.
Well, great. Awesome. I'm gonna interrupt here, so we will continue.